If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. So as everybody knows, I'm at my dad's house, and we're gonna stay here for 2 weeks. The first week I've been working on the camper, and I've just wrapped up all the repairs to the camper today, or repairs / modifications. And the second week I'm going to help Dad on his house. He's building a house, and he needs some help with the metal roof that he's putting on. And then we'll get back on our adventure. But we won't leave the state of Florida. What we'll probably do is just go further east into Florida. And probably after that we'll start heading into adventure again, getting back into it. So in the last couple of videos I've made about the repairs that we're doing to our camper, I explained to you the importance in one of the videos. Just kind of find a couple places throughout the country so you can stop and do repairs. And the other one, I showed you some of the repairs that we were doing. I put what I'm calling siding, vinyl siding on the outside of our camper. It's actually corrugated plastic. There's a lot of people that assume that you can do work on your camper out on the road. If you're going to stay in national forest, it's illegal to work on your camper, work on your car, those kind of things. I mean, you're not supposed to come out there to do maintenance. You're supposed to come out there to do camping for 2 weeks. There was a tent camper in the campground that I stayed at one time, and he had, I guess, a brake issue or tire issue or something, a wheel issue. Well, anyway, he jacked his car up. He parked it in the campground right next to his tent, jacked it up, took the tire off. That day he left. Well, the Rangers came out and gave him a fine for leaving his car there with the tire off. The other issue about trying to do maintenance out on the road is the amount of tools that you have to carry. I carry some basic tools where I can do some minor repairs, specifically to the generator. I carry a little socket set where I can do repairs to or preventive maintenance to the generator. And I do that every 2 weeks, but other than that, I hardly use any tools. The most used tool that I have is the Phillips screwdriver. But if you start carrying drills and saws, levels, tape measures, all these other tools that you're going to need to do repairs on your camper, you're going to be overweight. And I don't think people really understand how bad it is to be overweight. I see vans all the time. Their back end is all squished down. You're squished down and you're riding your back axle on the frame, and it's got springs, and if you're riding on the frame, you're overweight. You're going to wear out your brakes, you're going to wear out your tires. You see YouTube videos all the time where they'll say, oh, brake failure, and you see these on Class C's also, or transmission failure, or tire failure. I see them all the time. It's always the same problem. They are overweight. So you start bringing tools, you're going to be overweight quick. On the inside of your door frame, on the driver's side, it tells you how much weight that you can carry in your vehicle. I think mine's around 1,400 pounds or something like that. It's really nice being able to stop at people's houses, do some maintenance on your home. The thing is when you're out there, you notice all these problems with your camper that you want to get resolved. I'm just going to go through some of the things that I was really glad I was able to get resolved. One of the first issues that we got right out of the gate after we built the homemade truck camper was the truck camper started to settle it's sitting on the rails of the truck bed, and it started to settle. I guess there was so much front end weight from the cab over that it fell down a little bit, and so it just kind of raised the back end. I don't know, maybe a ½ inch, but the ½ inch spread out over that entire cab really came close to the roof of the truck, the cab over, and so you couldn't even get your hand in there. And so anytime I would go over a hard bump, that cab over would rub up against that antenna base. I took a jack and I went inside the camper, and I was able to raise the camper with a jack, use some 2x4s and secure it, so now it rides. It's going to be permanently attached. It was just a thing that really bothered me, but it wasn't something I could resolve out on the road. That's the other thing, is materials. I can't carry materials in this truck. If I needed a piece of plywood or a piece of luan to replace on the side of the truck, I guess I could strap it down to the roof of the truck, but I wouldn't feel very comfortable with that. I'm sure, I'd be at risk of it blowing off or something like that. So you always need somebody to go get materials for you. Another thing I wanted to do was I wanted to drill a hole in the back of the camper using a keyhole saw on a drill, so I could run a hose through the camper. Because when I take a shower, I have my pump outside with my bucket, and then I run the hose inside into my shower. Well, in order to do that, I had to leave the door cracked open. Well, any gust of wind would rip that door open. So, you're always trying to strap it down. It was just a pain. And so now I've drilled this hole in it. You don't know how bad, every time I had to set up a shower, how bad I wanted a hole. But again, was it really worth going out and buying a drill and buying a keyhole saw? That would have been, 30, 40 bucks just to toss it away or give it away. Now, I do admit that when it got real cold, I don't know, October, November, I needed to put insulation up on the front of the cab over. I had to. I was getting condensation, and I needed insulation to prevent the condensation. And out in the conservation area, I had to install insulation. Well, this is styrofoam. If you were to cut that outside, all the styrofoam that had flaked off is now laying on the ground. And so now you've just polluted the national forest or the conservation area, which is a clear violation of the law. So again, these are things that you got to be able to do in a shop, maybe a garage. Of course, if you're wanting to paint, and if it rains, you have nothing to cover it up. So you're tying up tarps and hanging tarps to trees, and you're not even supposed to tie ropes around trees in some national forests. So, there's just a lot of complications to doing maintenance. And so I think it's very important that you keep a list of all the repairs you want to do, so when you get back to a location, family member's house or whatever you got throughout the country, that you can just get all these repairs done. Thanks for watching. Quick like if you like the video, and happy travels.